Welcome students. Hope you all are happy and healthy. Today, here once again, I am going to discuss chapter 1 of history, that is how, when and where. Here is part 2 for you. And once again, what are the learning objectives? Dear students, you will know about the criteria which used to make a set of dates important. मीन्स कि क्या यूज़ करते हैं, कौन सी क्राइटेरिया होती है जिसके बेसिस पर हम एक सर्टेन सेट ऑफ डेट्स को इम्पोर्टेंट बताते हैं. Second, you will understand that how colonial records play an important role in writing last 25 to 50 years of Indian history. And it's revision time. In our first video, I just gave you a short history of explained a short history of tea, coffee, potato, tomato, chili, television, and Britannia. I tried my best to create interest because definitely history is not about dates only. There was a time when historians were fascinated with dates, and there were heated debates about the dates on which rulers were crowned or battles were fought. But history is certainly not about dates. History is certainly about changes that occur over time. It is about finding out how things were in the past and how things have changed. So before starting the chapter, let's play a quiz. In next slide, or different slides, I will show you pictures of some British Governor General, Viceroy of India, and you have to write their name according to serial number. And I will give you some clue also, so that you can recognize them. Let's play. So first picture is the picture of the first Governor General of India. In some books you may find that it is the first Governor General of Bengal. But we have to follow NCERT, and according to NCERT, the first Governor General of India is. You have to identify him. And this is serial number 2 in front of you. This is the picture of a Viceroy who was Viceroy of India between 1876 to 1880. And here is serial number 3. This is the picture of a Governor General of India who was famous for abolishing sati. सती प्रथा का उन्मूलन किया था इन्होंने. कौन है ये? And serial number 4 is the picture of the last British Viceroy of India. Who is he? And picture number 5. This is the picture of a very famous British Governor General. He died in Ghazipur and he was buried in Ghazipur. One more clue. He is the founder of permanent settlement in India. Who is he? Picture number 6. Whenever we talk about partition of Bengal, the picture of this person came in front of us. This is the Viceroy. He was the Viceroy of India and he was responsible for the partition of Bengal. This is the picture of the first Viceroy of India. In 1858, this new post was created. Later we will discuss what is the difference between Governor General and Viceroy. So this is the picture of first Viceroy of India. Picture number 8. This is the picture of a British Governor General who was famous for doctrine of lapse, राज्य हड़पने की नीति. Who is he? And here is picture number 9. This Governor General is famous for his subsidiary alliance. सहायक संधि के लिए यह प्रसिद्ध थे। बताइए ये कौन है? And now third and final picture. This is the picture of a viceroy who repealed the Vernacular Press Act. इन्होंने वर्नाकुलर प्रेस एक्ट को हटाया था। पहचानिए ये कौन है? And here is the answer. The first picture is picture of Warren Hastings. Second is of Lord Lytton. Third picture is of Lord William Bantic. Fourth picture is Lord Mountbatten. Fifth, Charles Cornwallis. Sixth, Lord Curzon. Seventh, Charles Canning. Eighth, Lord Dalhousie. Ninth, Richard Wellesley. And 10th is Lord Ripon. And here is the picture of Britannia. On the first page of this chapter, the photograph of Britannia is given there. ब्रिटेनिया ब्रिटेन की राष्ट्रमाता है। जैसे आप भारत माता कहते हैं, वैसे ही ब्रिटेन की राष्ट्रमाता का नाम ब्रिटेनिया है। In this picture, Brahmins offering their शास्त्र to Britannia. वो जो ब्राह्मण हैं, वो अपने सारे शास्त्र वेद ब्रिटेनिया के हाथ में दे रहे हैं। And this was made by James Renell in 1792. ये तस्वीर इस बात को बताती है कि किस तरह से हमने ब्रिटेनिया की अधीनता स्वीकार करनी शुरू कर दी थी। आप ब्रिटेनिया के पोस्चर को देखिए और अपने शास्त्रों को सौंपने वाले जो ब्राह्मण से उनके पोस्चर को देखिए, तो आपको बहुत सारी चीज़ें बिल्कुल क्लियर हो जाएंगी। तो अब तक आपको जो मैंने बताया वो आपको कैसा लगा? और वास्तव में आपका चैप्टर शुरू होता है यहाँ से। बहुत सारे उदाहरणों के बाद आपके चैप्टर के पहले पेज पर जो तस्वीर है, दैट इज़ द इमेज ऑफ ब्रिटेनिया, फीमेल पर्सोनिफिकेशन ऑफ ब्रिटेन। जैसे आप भारत माता की जय बोलते हैं, भारत माता हमारी माँ है, देश को माँ के रूप में मानते हैं, वैसे ही ब्रिटेन के लोग ब्रिटेनिया को माँ के रूप में मानते हैं। There's a picture by James Renell, a famous cartographer. You know who is cartographer? A person who makes map is known as cartographer. So in this picture, Brahmins are offering their shastras to Britannia. ब्राह्मण अपने शास्त्रों को ब्रिटेनिया को दे रहे हैं। ब्राह्मण के पोस्चर देखिए, ब्रिटेनिया के पोस्चर को देखिए। अपने शास्त्रों को उनके हाथ में देने का मतलब है कि उनकी अधीनता को स्वीकार करना। तो यहाँ से आप देखेंगे कि हमारे किताब में असली हिस्ट्री की शुरुआत होती है। एंड दिस इज द फर्स्ट पेज ऑफ आवर चैप्टर। दिस इज द पिक्चर ऑफ ब्रिटेनिया and this was made by James Renell in 1782. Renell was asked by Robert Clive to produce maps of Hindustan. Renell saw preparation of maps as essential to the process of domination. The picture here tries to suggest that Indians willingly gave over their ancient text to Britannia, the symbol of British power, as if asking her to become the protector of Indian culture. Now, by what criteria do we choose a set of dates as important? The dates we select, the dates around which we compose our story of the past, are not important on their own. They become vital because we focus on a particular set of events as important. If our focus of study changes, if we begin to look at new issues, a new set of dates will appear significant. For example, according to British historians, their history began with the first Governor General Warren Hastings and ended with last Viceroy Lord Mountbatten. जितने भी इनके गवर्नर जनरल और वॉयसराय हुए, इनकी सारी कहानियाँ इनके ही इर्द गिर्द घूमती हैं। इन्होंने जो क्लासिफिकेशन की, इनकी जो डेट्स की क्लासिफिकेशन थी, वो उन्हीं के आसपास घूम रही होती थी, उनकी उपलब्धियों के आसपास घूम रही होती थी। इसमें एक आम भारतीय का कोई भी स्थान नहीं था। क्या होगा अगर इतिहास एक भारतीय अपने हिसाब से लिखे तो? तब क्या ये गवर्नर जनरल उतने महत्वपूर्ण रह जाएंगे? नहीं। तो डेट्स को क्लासिफाई करने का सबका अपना अलग अलग तरीका रहा है, जिसको हम आगे धीरे धीरे जानने की कोशिश करेंगे। And now after dates, here is another thing, that how do we periodize? There is a picture of James Mill. He was a Scottish economist and political philosopher. In 1817, he published a massive 3-volume work, A History of British India. In this book, he divided Indian history into 3 periods: Hindu, Muslim, and British. In this idea of history, British rule represented all the forces of progress and civilization. The period before British rule was one of darkness. Can such a conception be accepted today? No. In any case, can we refer to any period of history as Hindu or Muslim? Did not a variety of faiths exist simultaneously in these periods? Why should we categorize an age only through the religion of the rulers of the time? To do so is to suggest that the lives and practices of the others do not really matter. We should also remember that even rulers in the ancient India did not all share the same faith. So, this classification is not good. And in next slide, we will talk how Indian periodize their history. So Indian historians have usually divided history into ancient, medieval, and modern. This division too has its problems. It is a periodization that is borrowed from the West, where the modern period was associated with the growth of all the forces of modernity, that is science, reason, democracy, liberty, and equality. Medieval was a term used to describe a society where these features of modern society did not exist. Now the question is, can we uncritically accept this characterization of the modern period to describe the period of our society? नहीं कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि अगर हम अंग्रेजों ब्रिटिश के अनुसार ही मॉडर्न पीरियड के फीचर्स की बात करें, जहाँ पर इक्वलिटी थी, लिबर्टी थी, तो क्या ब्रिटिश राज में भारतीयों के पास इक्वलिटी थी? नहीं थी। सो अगर हम सही तरीके से बात करें तो ये क्लासिफिकेशन भी सही नहीं है। हालांकि फिर भी हम भारतीय इतिहास को 3 भागों में बांटते हैं: एंशिएंट प्राचीन, मेडिएवल मध्यकालीन, मॉडर्न आधुनिक। जैसा हमने पिछले स्लाइड में पढ़ा कि प्राचीन, मध्यकालीन के बाद मॉडर्न, तो क्या सही में ब्रिटिश पीरियड को मॉडर्न पीरियड कहा जा सकता है? नहीं। इसके लिए हमने एक नया वर्ड यूज़ किया, दैट इज़ colonial. What is colonial? When the subjugation of one country by another lead to these kinds of political, economic, social and cultural changes, we refer to the process as colonialism. इसको हम कहते हैं औपनिवेशीकरण। किस तरह से एक विदेशी शक्ति भारत आती है, उस पर अपना कब्जा जमा लेती है। भारत की अर्थव्यवस्था, समाज, हर चीज़ पर इनका कब्जा हो जाता है और धीरे धीरे बढ़ते बढ़ते हमारी मूल्य, मान्यताओं, पसंद नापसंद, रीति रिवाज, तौर तरीके, हर चीज़ में चेंज लाने के लिए मजबूर करता है। और आप इस बुक के आगे के चैप्टर्स में पढ़ेंगे कि कैसे हमारी सोसाइटी के, इंडियन सोसाइटी के एक एक हिस्से पे इसका असर पड़ा। और शायद यही रीज़न है कि हमारी बुक का नाम है आवर पास्ट। अतीत की बहुत सारी यादें हैं। आपने गौर किया होगा, इसलिए हमारी टेक्स्ट बुक का नाम आवर पास्ट है। पार्ट 1 जिसे आपने 6th क्लास में पढ़ा, पार्ट 2 जिसे आपने 7th में पढ़ा, पार्ट 3 एंड 4 जिसे आप क्लास 8th में पढ़ेंगे कि किस तरह से भारतीय समाज बदल रहा होता है। Now we talk about the sources used by historians in writing about the last 250 years. One important source is the official records of the British administration. The British believed that the act of writing was important. Every instruction, plan, policy, decision, agreement, investigation had to be clearly written up. Once this was done, things could be properly studied and debated. This conviction produced an administrative culture of memos, notings, and reports. The British also felt that all important documents and letters needed to be carefully preserved. So they set up record rooms attached to all administrative institutions like the village Tahsildar's office, the collectorate, the commissioner's office, the law courts, all had their record rooms. Specialized institutions like archives and museums were also established to preserve important records. तो देखा आपने किस तरह से ब्रिटिश सारे रिकॉर्ड्स को इकट्ठा करके रखते थे और वो आज भी इतिहास जानने का महत्वपूर्ण स्रोत है। आपके सामने दो तस्वीरें हैं, एक तस्वीर है, दूसरी लोगो है। एक नेशनल म्यूजियम की तस्वीर है जो नई दिल्ली में स्थित है और दूसरा राष्ट्रीय अभिलेखागार नेशनल आर्काइव्स ऑफ इंडिया की है, यह भी नई दिल्ली में स्थित है। और इन दोनों स्थानों पर आपको भारतीय इतिहास के काफ़ी सारे अमूल्य दस्तावेज और धरोहर मिल जाएंगे जिनसे आप अपने इतिहास के बारे में जान सकते हैं कि किस तरह से वह लिखा जाता था। एक और वर्ड लिखा है कैलीग्राफिस्ट। द आर्ट ऑफ ब्यूटिफुल handwriting is known as calligraphy, and those who are specialized in the art of beautiful handwriting, या those whose handwriting are very good are known as calligraphists. So with the help of these, इन्होंने अपने रिकॉर्ड्स को अच्छे से रखा जिससे हम उस समय के इतिहास के बारे में जान पाते हैं। और आगे की पढ़ाई हम अगले वीडियो में करेंगे, पार्ट 3 में। And now it's assignment time. So question number 1, who was the first Governor General of India? Question number 2, who was James Mill? And name the book written by him. Question number 3, what do you mean by colonial? Question number 4, what is calligraphy? Now HOTS. Question number 1, what is the problem with the periodization of Indian history that James Mill offers? Question number 2, why did the British preserve official documents? Thank you. So stay home, stay safe, take care of yourself and your family. Thank you.